So welcome back. So today we will be seeing a new topic that is Jenkins. Okay, so we have learned about GitHub, what is GitHub and why it is necessary, and then few of the preliminaries and terminologies and how to use the collaboration as a collaboration tool. We have learned that. Now, it's if you see this GitHub and Jenkins, which we are going to learn today, these are all part of the DevOps actually. Okay, so why? So before, like back in days, if you see a century back, this was not part of what do you call your development or what do you call the QA background or anything. It was mostly there used to be a DevOps team actually who will be taking care of that. Like as a development folks, you will be writing the code, implement everything, and then push to that repository. Before Git, there used to be SVN actually. So you will push that repo there, and then after this what will happen, your DBA team will take up all your SQL queries, and then the DevOps team will take your code, and they will use their own platforms. I mean, I'm talking about when there is to be your what do you call desktop applications. That time we didn't have all this CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous development. But if you see nowadays, everybody is talking about agile. Even yesterday also, couple of times you would have heard from me that about agile. Now the agile says that one of the philosophy of agile is that anything that you're developing, small chunks of the software, and it should be workable, send it across, because people nowadays need more updates actually. Like if you talk about anything like hardware or software, we need updates frequently. Like I was talking, if you remember, Facebook every day, I think 4 to 6 times they're updating their website. It means that they're deploying to the production environment. So think about how much they will be what do you call uh, frequent actually in that. I mean, somebody has to write the code, and then that has to be tested, and then that has to be like a pass through security testing, performance testing, and then that has to go through your deployment process. The same thing Google, you would have seen, like every day you will be getting some more updates only, and then with that you will have your own new features as well. Okay, so all these things, like let's say that, let's talk about a classic model actually, where like we three are as a developers and there are three more QA folks are there. Now there is one requirement came, and then there are a couple of bugs. Think about this scenario where the developers will kind of what do you call develop their own functionalities. By that time, some other developers will be there, they will be fixing the bugs actually. Like some existing regression bugs also will be there, right? Now let's say that your manager is saying that, okay, you know what, every day I want to do a deployment, because the client is saying that we need to, like talk about a kind of news and what do you call website actually, where you have to update few of the content on a daily basis actually. Now what happens, every time you have to prepare the content, and now you have to think where I should place on that so that it can be readable. Then there is some priority also. Like you will think about, okay, where I need to place my ads, where I need to place my some advertisements, some personal advertisements, your own any subscription based ads in that. And then again your own content is there, dynamic contents will be there. Now that's where actually the problem is coming, because one team will be there, they will be thinking about all these things. At the same time, the development people will be kind of writing their own code base to kind of what do you call give all these layouts on the screen. At the same time, the testers will be writing their automation script actually, because as you get that change, the QA folks has to test that. Then it has to go through your another environment. Like if you know about, there are couple of environments are there in real time. It's not always the one which I'm writing directly, I can't push there actually. Like we have seen the branches, right? Why these branches are there? These are to segregate each one of the responsibilities. The same thing, we have some environments actually, like we can say that the CI environment or the development environment. Like you will see the local host, anything that you're writing and you are kind of what you call checking yourself, what you do as a development folks, you will be first opening that as a local host, your local server you will be opening, and then we'll see how the contents are rendering actually. At the same time, now once that is tested by as a development, we will test that, then we will move to another environment which is called as a QA environment. Okay, now QA environment, the testers will take that, they will test that. Once they will do a go ahead, it will go to a another environment, we call it as a staging environment. Like we have in Git, actually we have working environment and then staging environment, right? The same thing, you will have a staging environment. Like if I give a real time example, the Facebook could have like this, localhost.facebook.com, they will have one URL like this. Now another URL could be qa.facebook.com. So the facebook.com is dedicated for the QA development. I mean, after the development is developed, it will go to the QA area. Then once the testers will test that, then they will talk to the manager, okay, 80% of the things are working properly, there are some minor bugs are there, we can go ahead with that. Now what they will do, stage.facebook.com they will do. Once it is on stage.facebook.com, then it has to be again done with a smoke testing or sanity testing, whatever you feel like a quicker way of testing. And then that will go to exactly the actual facebook.com, and this will go even though there is a small text change. Let's say that after Facebook logo there is a dot, by mistakenly it was there. Now to fix that dot also, it has to go through all these four processes. Whatever I'm saying, it is mandatory actually, because each section or each department on this QA staging, all these things, they have to do a go ahead, or they have to do a we call it as a go no go sign actually. So if we will say go, then it will go to the next phase. Now think about that. If a daily, I mean daily or in a weekly basis, we are pushing the changes to the production environment, and all these processes has to go through. Now manually, if you are doing all these things, how much time it will take as a manual effort actually. So that's where actually the problem is coming with us. Okay. Now to eradicate those problems, we are using Jenkins. The reason is that I mean, a person cannot stay. Let's say that a development is done. They have deployed to the QA area. Now let's say that at 8 o'clock evening, or 8 o'clock evening, the developer actually push the changes to the QA. Now think about, will that QA folk will be present there? Not really, right? Because he would have gone to his house actually, because it is logout time. Now think about what will happen in that scenario. Now they have to wait till tomorrow only. Now what if your manager is saying that today 12 o'clock we need to put it into the production? How do you do that? You can't every day tell to your QA folks that boss, I will give you extra money, and then you stay there, which is not practical, right? I mean, every day the company will not even pay for that, because whole day they are sitting idle, because they might not be having a actual work actually, because the development is still going on, or they might be only busy into the regression stuff, or they will do the work on the next day only. The same thing, let's say that the tester did a go, but the DevOps guys are not there actually to deploy it. They will be coming back on the next day only. So that's where actually automating this process is coming into the picture. And then it came like development has to write a unit testing, because if you do all the manual testing after you written the code, if you test that manually, it will take a lot of time actually, because you need to think whether the variable is properly declared or not. If this variable is declared, can I access this one into another screen or not? So all these kind of things you have to do it, which is like it is like testing that stuff will take more time than its development actually. In reality that happens actually. So that's where unit testing came into the picture. Okay, and every programming language has its own unit testing frameworks. Okay, so the same thing, a tester cannot stay more time, so they evolved with the automation testing. Okay, so now what happens with Jenkins, what will happen? Let's say that development written the development code, and what they will do, their job is to just push it to the GitHub only. Okay, GitHub or whatever Azure DevOps or whatever the platform is there. Now what will happen, we will configure the Jenkins in a way, it will pick up the code from the that particular repository, remote repository, and then it will build that. Because see, whatever software you're writing, what is the main motto of that software? It has to build and then create a product. Actually, if it is Java, it can give you a jar file because you have to zip it. Or else if it is a Python, it will be giving a exe file. Visual Studio Code, it will give you a exe file, or it will deploy directly to your web application server as well. So anything, I mean, something you need to do as an end product. So Jenkins will help you to do that actually. So see how we do all these things. Let's say that I want to zip it. There should be some command, right, in Java, where if you write that command, then it will execute your code. So that command actually you will be writing into the Jenkins. So where that manual effort will be done with the Jenkins tool, and then it will be deployed. Now, once it is deployed, what will happen? The QA folks will take instantly. At least it will reduce 1 to 2 hours of your time. By that time, the QA folks can take. And now what happens while writing the automation testing? I mean, even though most majority of you are development, but still it is necessary for you, because that's where actually the organization collaboration is coming into the picture. Now, the QA folks, what they will do as soon as you are finished with your deployment, let's say that at 11 o'clock you have finished the deployment. Now, what will happen? The automation testing code, whatever the QA folks have written, they will do the same thing. They will have another Jenkins job where it will pick up all the GitHub, I mean, code from the GitHub, and then they will write another code, actually, command line code, which will execute those tests actually. Okay, so let's say that 11 o'clock deployment is happening. Now we will give certain amount of time. At 12 o'clock, the testing has to be done. I mean, it has to start actually, that process. Now, what will happen at 12 o'clock? Okay, okay, sure. So the thing is that if so did you guys understand the process why exactly we are using the Jenkins? It is basically to automate that process actually. Okay, so one of the folk actually replied that it is bit fast. So let me, because it is more theoretical, so I thought I will be going bit faster, but still no problem. Let's understand one by one. So now are we clear with the QA, with the development stuff, right? All of the code, whatever you are deploying or you are zipping it or making an exe file, we will automate it. Now, how do you automate that? Now, let's say that if I tell you a particular like developer, I will tell, boss, you have written this script, I mean your code. Now what you do, give me a jar file. What you will do now, you will write some Java, what you call commands actually, because it is mostly dealing with the command line only. Okay, or you will use certain Java related tools as well. Okay, by using that, what you will do, from where you will get the code? From your local drive only, right? Because that's where your code is present. Now you will pick up that code, you will provide that path of your source code, and then you will convert that into a jar file. Then what you will do, you will send that as an email, or you will send that to a centralized location where the next person can pick up and then utilize that. Okay, now the same process I can do by using Jenkins. Because what will happen now, your code is in your local drive, right? Let's not keep it into your local drive, let's push it to the GitHub so that everybody can access. You know that how to do that. Now, once it is in GitHub, what will happen? You will create a Jenkins job. Jenkins means it's a job actually, it's a task, or else in Jenkins, you will create a task which will pull your code into the Jenkins server or where your Jenkins is installed. Now, you will write particular command actually in the Jenkins job only, which will do that jar file. I'm just taking an example. Now that jar, the next step, what I told, you have to, now you are sending or you are keeping into some centralized repository as a manually. Now in Jenkins also you can do that. You can, there will be some what they call plugins are available. By using those plugins, you can keep that jar file because you have your location, right, where the jar file is saved. Now that is your source, and the destination maybe somewhere on the Google Drive or Dropbox. Give that path. Now, when you run that particular Jenkins job, what it will do, it will automate creating that jar file, then sending that jar file, and you're done with that. Now, manually, if you do that, let's say daily you have to do 5 times. Now, manual effort is more, right? So that's where Jenkins, and it is more accurate also. You have written once and executing every time. So automating that is helpful. That is more into the development standpoint. But if into the QA, let's say that I'm taking that jar file and I'm executing my tests on that jar file or on that exe file. Now what I will do, now you have saved that into a destination. Now that destination will be my source actually. Okay, it's a continuation. That's why I'm saying continuation integration and continuous development, because you are doing that repeatedly. Now the QA folk will take that particular location because that location is fixed one, right? Okay, so what you will do, you will take that and then keep that particular file, and then they will again take a job, the QA folks, they will now again take that code, the QA code from the GitHub, and then they will execute that. Now to execute that, we have set in commands are there where you can execute all the steps. You know, nowadays every application, everything that is coming with a command line arguments only. Okay, before it used to be manual triggering, but now everything we are automating. That's why you will see command line stuff actually. Even Java, we know that a project we can even execute by using Java commands also, by using main method or something. Okay, it is used to automatically create jar file and sending. No, it's not. I have just given an example of that only. A simple example I have given where it can create, but it has a lot more scope than just creating that. Because anything that you do manually with your what do you call, with your code base, that can be done by using Jenkins also. This has a lot more of what you call plugins are there. See why I'm saying about the jar file or exe file, because normally that is the end product of your code base, right? So those things you can do. And if any specific things are there, you can search in Google, like let's say that you want to do something with your code base actually, then you can search how to do with Jenkins. You will get lot of Jenkins is again sea of resources. It has its own tutorials. You can use that as well in that. And another thing is that, like as I told, GitHub is not worrying about what language you are using, what programming language. The same thing, Jenkins don't care about what kind of programming language you are writing the code and everything. It is based on the command lines only. That's why I'm saying every program, every programming language, like starting from your Java, C Sharp, and Python, and talk about front end developments, your JavaScript, TypeScript, everything has its own command line tools are there, right? Java has Java. If you are talking about unit testing or automation testing, you have Maven builds. You all guys might be familiar with Maven commands, right? So those Maven commands you can put it into the Jenkins. So anything that you do with Maven commands, everything you can use it into the Jenkins. Even you can do with shell scripting also. Like any shell scripting, let's say echo, we have something called as echo, right, where it will print its own stuff only. Or you can even print the directories, everything, any shell script you can execute inside the Jenkins job. Okay, so that's why it is not caring about what kind of programming language you have. Okay, so that is one of the main benefit of using Jenkins. Okay, so now as we learned about Jenkins, let's talk about few of the stuff actually. How do we use this one? Now, the installation, again, it is fair simple enough as we are installing any other softwares in our machine. And because it is multiply, I mean, it is irrespective of the, what do you call, your languages, it is cross-platform. We can install it under Mac operating system or Windows operating system as well. Okay, and the minimum thing that is required is Java actually, because it is open source. So that's why it is based on Java. Okay, so you know already more than me, you guys know about how to install Java, how to verify the Java. So I'm not going to get inside that. And then to download that, there is a dedicated website, jenkins.io. Okay, so there will be a war file, and this one also you know already. Whenever we are developing anything in Java, we can create a jar file or a war file as well. So Jenkins is based on this war file. So you will download this war file into your Windows machine, wherever you want to keep it. By using the Java command, you can run this particular command line. Let me make it as italic. Okay, so Java hyphen jar jenkins.var, and this is basically it is to, you have to go to this particular directory, you know that already. And then http port, this is, I think this is double slash if I'm not wrong. Okay, and then here http port, this is port actually, any port like localhost, then you will give a colon and then you will put 8080. Okay, now once you have done this particular command and press on enter, you will get the localhost colon 8080, you will get the Jenkins render application there. Now, before showing, let me quickly finish the Mac operating system as well. So, as we know that we have a brew command, we have even learned about Git also. The same thing, we can use the brew command in Mac to install the Jenkins. Normally, I have seen that you need not to worry about all these things. Just execute this particular command actually, brew space install space Jenkins hyphen LTS. LTS means latest stable version. Okay, just open your terminal and then execute this particular command. Let me make it as bold. And then if anything specific you need, it is just giving you an option of these things. But yes, always we go with the latest stable version only, right? So that's why that is there. Fine. So another thing is that in Windows, you have to always do with this one only. I mean, as before launching your what do you call your Jenkins server, you have to type this particular command. I think nowadays some daemon servers are coming with Windows 10 latest version. I've not really explored about that, but yes, if you search more, you will get that. So daemon services are basically, if you know, it is always running on your background actually. So where the Jenkins for Mac is coming by default actually inside that, so that before running this you need not to what do you call explicitly execute this particular command. Okay, but yes, this is just one line command. You can even keep it into a bat file, and then you can just schedule it in your Windows. So every day you log in, it will just execute, or else you can uh, turn on the daemon services in your machine to, so that you need not to type it every time. So this is one thing you need to keep it in your mind, because if you're not doing this one, whenever you access localhost colon 8080, it will say that something we are seeing, right? If you are not able to access, server is down or address not found, you will get it. So make sure that you are running this particular command. Okay, so that the jenkins.var will come into the picture. Fine. If you are in Mac, you have again two options. I would say that ignore it, but just to informational purpose. Sometimes what people want to do, they don't want the daemon services to run always, so they want to run this one. Now whenever you say brew services start Jenkins, then what happens, as soon as you log out and log in, this daemon services will stop by default. Okay, so these things are helpful for you. So this is one of the stuff you can just use it. So that's why I'm writing for the informational purpose. Okay, so after you are done, it's a very simple installation. Let's say all these things are fair simple and you're getting a success message. The next thing is that let's see how exactly Jenkins looks like. So I will go to my browser and I will be using this one. Now what happens whenever you first time log in into, I mean, render this URL, basically you won't see this one actually. You will see this screenshot because I have already installed on my machine. I cannot show you that, but luckily I have taken this screenshot at the beginning so that I can portray to people. Okay, so you will see first thing is this one, unlock Jenkins. Now what it is doing, it is basically authenticating your system. Okay, now what will happen, there is a initial admin password will be there. It's again a encrypted password. It will give you a folder path actually, a directory. If it is Windows, it will start from C drive. If it is your Mac operating system, it will start from the users for directory. Now you have to navigate to this particular folder directory. Under this secrets, there will be a file actually, initial admin password. Open that into a notepad and you will get a encrypted password. It's a string actually, couple of characters will be there in that. Now that you need to enter here and then continue. Now once that authenticated, you will be now displayed with a customized Jenkins. So like as I told, Jenkins is not related to a specific language. There will be like several, like sea of what you call plugins are there. You can install the plugins under this. Okay, so now customize Jenkins, and it is giving few of the options. Install suggested plugins. You can just click on this one. It will give you preliminary plugins, which is basic required plugins. You can just click on this and then go ahead. There will be like 7 to 8 couple of plugins are there. It will take 5 to 10 minutes depending on your bandwidth. Once you say continue, then it will be prompted with a getting started message. Okay, here basically you have to create a username or a user for your particular Jenkins. For your organization also the same thing. You will be assigned with a admin user. This admin can give you more permissions to another users. Okay, so it's very simple. You can do that. Once you do that, then the next thing is coming this one. Okay, where you will be given with a username and password. So I will give username and password, and you will see something like this. Don't worry about that. So you will see something like this one screen here. Fine. Now this screen, you will see few of the couple of options are there with the Jenkins. Let's see if I can expand this one. Yes, I can do that. Let's do one more. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine then. Now here is my Jenkins. Definitely you will not be having any job. This one I just tested myself. Okay, now you will see there are a couple of options here. If you mouse over to this and click on this, you will see few of the options here. You will see a new item. Whenever you click on this one, you will see a couple of items you can create. So these are different what you call styles actually, like a templates we call it as, right? So like if you are using, let's say, Visual Studio in Java, if you say Maven, then Maven folder structure will come. If you say normal Java project, normal Java, your source main Java, all those things will not come. So these are nothing but your templates, right? The same thing, Jenkins has its own templates are there. Freestyle project, you can do anything with that by using different plugins. So we will talk about in a moment. Let me go back to the Jenkins. And then if you see here, people, like as I told, you can create different kind of users. If it is your organization, you can just, let's say that you have 3 to 4 team members are there. You just want to give them access to specific stuff only. They can just read this particular job. They cannot see anything else. So you can just do some permutation combinations in that. Basically, the DevOps team normally do that, and as a users, we will be using this one. And then build history, I will be showing that in a moment. But the most important thing is that as soon as you install the Jenkins, the manage Jenkins is one of the stuff which you are worrying more. Okay, now here if you go to this global tools configuration, this is where you have to give, see, if you have installed Java, what is the first thing that you do that you are adding into the environmental variables, right? You will go java underscore home. If you're downloading Maven, you will go and add the Maven environmental variables, right? So the same thing, we do that here also. Okay, so now here couple of things. Just leave this one as default only. Default settings provider, default global setting provider. This is Java. You have to give the Java path actually. Whatever the Java version you are using, that you need to give name as Java and then the home folder path here. The same thing if you are using your Windows operating system, whatever you did in the environmental variables, the same thing you can assign here. Fine. Okay, now the next thing is that a default git you can give, because git is coming as a default, right? We need not to put any environmental variables for that. Now Gradle, if you are using Gradle, you can give the Gradle path. Ant build, if you are using Ant build, you can give that as well. Maven, because most of the people are using Maven projects, so I would say that even add this Maven also, and this one you know already how to set up the environmental variables. So all these things are very simple. This is basically your environmental variables. So that is the first thing you need to do that. Fine. Okay. At this moment, let's not worry about anything else. If everything is good, then we are good to go with the project actually, job actually, which I told. Now the first thing which I said is that we can create a job actually. Okay, even we can execute certain scripts because these are all basically from the command line arguments only. Now what I will do, let's create a new item and give something cell sample, something I'm writing here, and then I will select a freestyle project. Okay, now once you select that, click on OK. You will see internally you are getting so many options actually here. Okay, now let's say that every time I want to print something. Now description, what is this project, I mean what is this job is all about, and you can say that this is to print or test a command, something I'm writing there. And now discard old builds. Normally what happens, because I said continuous integration and continuous development, right, means these are not one time jobs actually. You are writing this job once but executing many times, so you will have a history of all the executions, right? So if you check this checkbox, discard old builds, if you guys are not able to see this one, I'm reading that discard old builds. If you check this checkbox, then what will happen, this will discard all the old builds. Normally people do to save their space, but I normally keep it because up to 200 300 builds if it is there, that's fair enough. Else you can just keep it, or else there are some options where you can even throttle the builds also. You can put how many builds you want to display actually in that. Okay, so discard old builds, it will just discard on that. Don't worry about all other options, we can just leave as it is. Disable this project, let's say you don't want to delete this job in future but you are no longer using this, you can just click on this disable this project. Okay, this project is parameterized, I will talk in a moment. Let's first understand the basics. Source code management, at this moment I don't have anything. Source code management means I don't have any source code to execute here, so I'm keeping that as it is. None means no source code. Git means you have to provide a git path. I will be talking in a moment. Fine. Okay, now trigger builds remotely, no need to worry about that. Build periodically, let's not worry about this. Scheduling, actually this is basically scheduling. So as I told, like you are finishing at 8 o'clock, your deploy, I mean your code finishing, then you want to deploy it. Now that deploying, you don't know how to do that, I mean you have to be there at office actually. The same thing for a QA folks, they have written their code, now it is end of the day, they don't want to wait there to execute the code. Now what they can do, they can write few of the scripts actually. These are nothing but called as commands actually. You need to write those commands, so that what you can do, you can write your code, push to the GitHub, and then leave that as it is. Now in Jenkins you schedule that job actually. Now what time you want to execute that, every day, every moment, or anything, those things you can just write it here. Now so now the description is very clear actually here. How do you, so let's go over this one actually. So build periodically, now it is accepting few of the parameters. One is now in this format actually. Let me just put expand this one. If you guys are not seeing this one, you can see this one: minute, hour, date of month, day of month, and then day of week actually. Okay, every weekly you want to run, every month you want to run, or any particular day in that month you want to run, or you want to run every hour, or you want to run in every minute. So those informations you will be writing here. Now the format is, if you see here, there will be one example. Yes, so you can see one of the example is here, it's very clear explanation is there. Let's say I'm keeping like this: h by h slash 15 means every 15 minutes. Now these are all star means regular expression, right? Now every year, every month, every day, every week, 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes it will be executing that. Okay, so there could be one of the instance actually, I can say you guys, let's say that there is a GitHub project is there. You want to know how much what you call commits are there in a daily basis. Okay, or else any commits are coming to your what do you call, to your GitHub account, I want to get a email notification. This is again a process only, right? I mean, many people want to know. Let's say that we three members are working on a team, and we want to know that who is committing, and any commits that are coming, we need to know it. Now, you could link about yesterday's session. Why do we need that one? Those commits, why do we need? The reason is that anytime we are writing a new code, I always told to you guys that you need to download the latest code only. Now, if you are not getting any email notifications, then you will be in a position that, okay, today nobody yet committed any code, let me start whatever I have the code base. So that is one of the benefit of this one. Or else you want to know who committed and what time somebody is committing, what changes they are putting. Maybe your manager want to know every moment. So now what they will do, now they will create a job actually here, and then they will say that h/1 actually. So every 1 minute it will be hitting to the GitHub server actually, to see if there is a new changes are coming or not. Okay, so that is one of the what do you call it, use case of this one. Now it won't hit to the server actually. Keep that in mind. It will just execute this particular job every minute. That is the only thing this scheduler will do that. Now, what kind of task it has to do? Like, it will wait for the changes, it will track the changes, or it will create some exe files. Those things you will be writing into the build environment. I mean, you guys already know that one, right? Because this is just when this particular job will be executing. That is what actually this cron job, this is nothing but a cron job. There is a cron sequence, right? If you guys know that. So that methodology actually this scheduling is doing. I will show you in a moment. Okay, so here you can see, so it is saying let's see, yeah. So every 15 minutes it will execute this particular job. If not, there is another example, h and then 0-29 means this is basically your minutes, right? So every half an hour, you can see every 10 minutes in the first half an hour, it will be running that. Okay, so that is one more thing actually, means at every hour, 10 minutes, first 10 minutes it will be executing, and then the next 10 minutes, second half, say again another 10 minute, it will be running. The same thing you have if you see this one, once a day, on the 1st and 15th of every month except December. Okay, that is one more thing, because it is giving 1 to 11. So means this is actually month. If you see this one, this is actually month. Yeah, month. See, last but second is month. So when I'm writing 1 to 11 means 12th month I'm skipping. Okay, star means every year actually that will happen. Now if you see first and 15th of every month, 1 comma 15, this is nothing but your day. Now this is h means once. Okay, you can see once a day on the 1st and 15th of every month it is happening. Okay, so these are different ways actually you can do that. Now to more understanding, I have another website actually. I've got that one nice website. Let me just execute run here, and let me expand this one as well. Okay, you can see here, so it is based on the cron expression generator actually. So here what you can do, you can it is the same format only for Jenkins only. Now it is again giving another option. You can see when I'm putting everything star means every minute this job will be starting. So what you can do, you can just copy it and then paste it into this text area block here. Now when you do this one, then every minute it will be running your code. Okay, so like that you can do that. The same thing, you have some other explanation is that zero means it will miss finish, it will ignore that minutes, every minute it will ignore, it will only happen in every hour starting from here. So the same thing, and any of the expression that you want to practice, you can just type it here actually. Like you can just keep everything here. Let me try something here, and then I will say 2, and then I will say star. And you can see, sorry, I think I need to give a space here. Okay, here you can see at 12 a.m. on the day 2 of the month, because it is month actually here. If I say like this 1 comma 2, and you can see day 1 and day 2 only of the month. Now why it is required, at the beginning I told deployment is main, what do you call, functionality of the Jenkins is that it will help you for the deployment. Now what happens, let's say that you are working for a US environment. Now a particular time only you have to deploy your what do you call, application code. Now all the team cannot be awake at that time if it is midnight at our time. So what they can do, they can create a Jenkins job, and then let's say that the US team is saying that, or your client is saying that I want to deploy every month first and second only. Then what you can do, you can schedule by using this particular what you call cron job, and then you can leave as it is, and then you will be sleeping at home, and then the Jenkins will be doing its own job actually, and you are not even worrying about what is happening. Yes, if there is any error, the next day you will be getting, that's a separate story. Okay, so this is again one more important thing in your Jenkins scheduling actually. And then there is again another option, you can manually even trigger that. Okay. Now here the same thing, we can see another one also, poll SCM. Like I told, you need to track if from GitHub if anything is triggering, you can even do this one also. Now what this will do, the same build periodically, the same as poll SCM only. Poll SCM, any kind of source code management tool like GitHub, if you want to what do you call, poll constantly to see if anybody changed anything, you can use the same cron jobs only here also. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Now comes this build environment. It is again a simple thing actually. If you want to delete the workspace, normally what is happening, the Jenkins concept is whenever you are what do you call, linking the GitHub repository or your local repository to this, what this Jenkins will do, it will create a copy of your code base into this particular server. Okay, that will keep it locally. So now workspace is nothing but which will hold your project source code. Okay, so that is what it is meant for. Now sometimes let's say that you want to clean up your project because you want to get the fresh code, some problem is there in your Jenkins, then you can just click on this one, any secret text or anything, you can just add it here actually, anything that is required for you. Okay, the same thing. And then about the build, if it is stuck, let's say that some latency issues are there, you can just abort that build, you don't want to continue that build, else what will happen, it will put pressure on the Jenkins server continuously, it is what do you call, heating, and keep on trying only. So if it is stuck, then you can do that. If you are using, and few of the options are there, whenever you need you can just look into that. If you are using any ant build, you can just click on this option, you can do that. Now build is basically the option which we are always looking for. That's what the Jenkins is meant for actually. What is the task you want to perform actually, when to perform, we have seen that how we can automate it. But a build is basically, if you mouse over here, and you can see execute Windows batch command, execute shell command, any Unix related scripts if you want to execute, you can use this one. We know, right, even in Java codes also, there are instances where we are executing few of the shell scripting also. Okay, and it is not only one task we can use it, we can use a sequence of tasks in Jenkins also. Like one task will be there, then again you can add another one, so sequence of tasks we can execute in Jenkins. Invoke and build, invoke Gradle script if you are using a Gradle build. Okay, and then you have even Maven targets also if you are using Maven goals, we know that, right? So if you are using Windows batch commands, you can use anything actually. So like what I will do, because I have Mac, so what I can do, I can say like this, and I will say echo, and then here I will say welcome to JTC learn. Jenkins today, something I'm printing here. Okay, now here what I will do, this command actually I want to execute it. Now what I will do again, as I told, I can use sequence of. Now what I can do, I can create another shell script and I will say pwd, which will give me the current path. Fine, even I can execute another command also. The same thing, I can execute couple of commands here. Now post build actions, again here you have few things are there, like you can archive the artifacts, you can publish some html reports, and then you have some JUnit test results if you are using unit testing, publish testng results if you are using testng framework. And then it's not only limited to this much only. Based on the plugins, I will show you the plugins where to install that. So based on the plugins you are installing, you will get the options here actually. Even you can connect with your Outlook also. If you're using Outlook, in organizations we are using Outlook, Microsoft Teams, and Slack also. So all those connections also you can do, but those are like very high level stuff. As you need those things, you will be exploring that a lot. Okay, so now even you can do a email notification also, I will be showing in a moment. So like if anything happened, like if it is run successfully or there is any issue, all those things you can get an email to your inbox as well. Okay, so these are all post build actions, means after you build it, what kind of problems are coming or any kind of report. Because see, midnight you ran that, but how do you know what is happened? That is where the post build action is coming into the picture. Fine, now let's do one thing. Let's save this one, save or apply anything. Now let me bit minimize so that you can see the complete thing. Okay, now you can see cell sample, we have got that task, and you can see workspace. At this moment it will be blank only because we are not dealing with any source code here. Fine, now status, let it be like this. You will see now let's say I want to go back to the configuration. You can click on this configuration and you will go back to this one, whatever the settings we have did here. Okay, now you can rename the project, you can delete the project, you can even disable that project also inside the configuration. Test results and analyzer, if it is a QA and code base if you are using, because I have this plugin installed, that's why it is showing the same thing. If you have any specific stuff you are looking for, then you can install those plugins also. Fine, because it is a new project, I don't have any build history actually. Now let me do one thing. Let me build now. Now when I say build now, you can see there is one more one entry has been created. Now if I go inside this and if you see this one, let me expand. You can see all this build information. I want to go. Let's do one thing. Let's expand this one bit more, and yeah. And here, if you drop down, you can see changes, console output, edit build information, delete this particular build. Now what I can do, I will say console output. You can see the console output. Now this script, whatever I have run there, like I have executed this particular script, right? So the output is coming here. As I told, anything you want to know the output, you are executing that. So after executing this command, this is my result. The same thing, if you want to zip your project code, if you want to deploy, all those commands you can write inside that build triggers. And then pwd, you can see this is one shell script, this is again another task actually. So continuously you can put more number of tasks. So that is where you can do that. Okay, now let's move ahead a bit more stuff actually, more into the source code stuff actually. Okay, so now if think about this one, I'm practicing my own actually, and I have a source code inside what you call, inside my local folder. Now let me go back to my local directory, and I have one code base is there inside this. Don't worry about that. What kind of code base? I'm not worrying whether it is a development code or a testing code. I really don't care about that, because Jenkins is also not worrying about that. So definitely it's a Java code for sure, because I'm from Java, and this is a testing code, but don't worry about that. I'm just executing a unit testing. It's a test-ng unit test. Now this one I want to execute it. Now let me quickly open it. I hope most of you are in development, but you know about Maven projects, right? Maven and test-ng, it's a, unit testing framework. So let me open that. Yes. Okay. Where is the project? Right. So this is my IntelliJ, and here I'm seeing all the my code base actually. Now to run this particular code, what I'm doing, I'm depending on this testng.xml. It's a simple testng.xml. If I right click on this one and then run, it will run my test suite. The same thing, let's say that you have a main method in your Java, what do you call, development code base, and you want to run that. What you are normally doing, you're right clicking and running that main method, right? So it is the same concept only. Now to run this one, I want to run this. So for this, what I will do, let me get into the same, let me first get the path actually. uh, Copy the path name. Yes, I've copied. Now let's go to the configure actually. Inside this, I'm using the same project only. Now I'm saying source code management is none, because I'm not taking from any source code management. It is my local directory only. Now here what I will do, this builds I can delete or let it be. Let's delete this one and add build step. Here what I will do, I will say that invoke top level Maven targets. Okay. Now here I'm taking the Maven command actually, because see, to execute this testng XML, to execute this testng XML, I have set in Maven commands actually. Like you know already, mvn space test actually. Then it will execute this testng XML, and this is coming from my pom.xml. If you see here, I am giving the testng path. If I go down here, yes, you can see in the Maven Surefire plugin, I have assigned this one. The same thing, you will have your own arrangements, right, to execute certain code base. So just the thing is that you need to get a command actually to execute your code. So I have just did some arrangements there so that I can execute that. Now Maven version, it has to be default, or you can select the Maven. This is coming from that Maven actually in the global tools configuration. From there actually I'm taking this one, this version actually. Now goals, here if you see, two things I need. One is my goal. So what I can do, I think mvn command is not required. It is only test, because this is Maven. So mvn command, that is not required. Now pom.xml path I need to give. So what I will do, this is my project structure. Under this, I have this pom.xml. Okay. Now I am writing this many things, that much it only. Now if everything goes good, what this will do, whenever I'm trying to execute this one, this Maven test will be triggered actually, because this is my build. Now once this will be triggered, this pom.xml is containing that testng xml. If I show it here, you can see that one. Okay, so at this moment this is not there. So what I will do, let me do one thing. Let me give this testng XML here. For now, let me comment this one. Okay, I'm commenting this one. Why it is not commenting? Let me create another one. Okay, I didn't enter this one. Yeah, I'm just giving a hardcore testng XML here. Now here and here, I will just say testng.xml. Don't worry, I'm just using different ways to execute this particular code base only. Okay, so fine. Now this pom.xml is containing this testng XML. So whenever I'm executing the test command, this testng XML will be executing. So inside that, whatever package classes I have mentioned, this will be triggering. And these are nothing but my testng suits actually. You can see here the test tags only. The same thing, if you have a main method, you can execute that as well. Fine. Okay. So now everything is set up here. Now let me save it, and then I will say build now, and you will see another build is triggering. Let's see the console output, a live thing here. I don't know whether you guys can see this. Let me try to increase the font of this one. Yeah, 150, and let me expand. Yeah, you can see here all the tests, and then it even launched my browser as well, because this is what I have given in that script to execute this one. Don't worry what it is doing. Okay, it finished everything. You can see the test case got passed as well. There are no issues, and then success result. The same thing in the development code. Let's say that you want to create a jar file, or you want to copy your code to somewhere. Actually, you can even do that based on whatever the commands you are executing. Even Maven has some package commands, right? Package goals. Like if I show that, you guys know actually more than me on this, but still let me just take it to here. You will see here package. You can do package, you can install, you can deploy as well by using the Maven commands. So all those commands you can execute inside this Jenkins job. Okay, so this is very flexible actually. Jenkins, you can do everything. Okay, fine. Now as it is executed, now this is actually my local drive. Now I have executed my code. Now let's say that somebody else is taking that. Now they will again give their own path, right? Because if you see inside this configure, I have a hard coded my path actually. If I go to the advanced, I'm giving my local path actually, which is not a feasible, because let's say that at 8 o'clock evening I'm shutting down my system and then I'm going back. Then how this Jenkins will be executing? And another thing, you might have one question comes. I mean, if you shut down, the Jenkins also will be gone, right? Then how it is executing? Okay. So the answer is that this Jenkins will not be in my system. This is for practice purpose I'm doing. This Jenkins will be in my office, some what you call server location actually. There will be some Windows server or something will be there. Now I am accessing the URL of that particular machine. Keep it, see, it is local host because it is my local server. The same thing, that system will have some IP address, right? So that IP address I need to access it in my system to configure all these things. But wherever the Jenkins is installed, that system has to be 24 by 7 up and running. That's a fair simple, but a thing to note. Okay, fine. Okay, so now this is coming from the local drive. Now let's try to see a bit advanced. How do we do that if it is into a centralized repository? Like let's say that it is into the GitHub actually, because that is where actually we are automating, right? Because as I said, at the end of the day, all the developers are finishing their code base, they are merging to the master branch, and they are pushing into the GitHub. So that is the final branch actually. Yesterday somebody was asking me that always from each branch we are deploying or from the master branch. So it is always master branch, right? So Jenkins also should take from the master branch only, whatever the task it is to do that. So that's where actually, now let me do one thing. Let me delete this one, this particular. You can see invoke top level Maven targets. Uh, Let me remove this particular line, pom.xml, because I don't want to take this pom.xml from my local drive. I have to take it from the SCM, what do you call, GitHub actually. So here you can see one option that is Git actually. Now for this, what I will do, first let me go to the GitHub, because I need to send this particular project to GitHub, right? Then only I can access that, because I will get a URL of that. So for this, what I will do, let's follow the previous day, whatever we have learned. So for this, first let me go to the GitHub account. don't know why it is not executing. Okay, let me, by that time, let me go to that particular path so that I can at least do that git initialization. So this is my folder here, and if I go here, let me go to the terminal, and we know already, let me execute one by one all the commands here. So okay, it is running now. The GitHub is coming. Let it come. I don't know why GitHub is so slow today. Let's see if normal GitHub is coming or not. Oh, okay, it launched. Good. I don't know why it is so slow. Yeah. Okay, so you know already, create a new. Oh God, it is so slow. Fine, let's bear with this one. It's just one example only, but still I wanted to show that one. Okay, so let me create a test. Don't worry what name, whatever I'm giving, it is just for explanation purpose. Something I'm writing there, and then I'm not giving any readme file. Okay, what is happening? Don't know why create repository is blank for me. It should be clickable. Hmm. Yeah, it's not at all rendering here. If you see, this is something. Oh, okay, it rendered good. So let me try to do here actually. Okay, it is a bit faster. So let me try in this, and it should trigger a code for me, and the code is 240522. Okay, good. Now let me create a new and then give sample project selenium something I'm giving. Yes. And then let me copy paste this one to here. Yeah, see here, the create repository button is enabled. So let me do that. And bye bye Chrome. Fine. So let's open this one. Good. Oops, where did it go? Yeah. Okay, so let it be here. By that time, what we will do, I've got the path of my source code. And let's delete this one. This is my path, and I didn't initialize yet. So let's repeat that, whatever we have learned yesterday. So git init, reinitializing, okay? And then after that, what I need to do? I need to do git status. Let's see. Definitely, all of these files are not yet. Let's see if I have already git remote, sorry, git remote. Okay, there is nothing linked yet. Okay, so as you can see, I don't have anything here. Everything is not committed yet actually. So what I will do, git add, and I will say dot. Okay, git add dot means it will be involving everything actually. One crlf will be replaced. Okay, don't worry about that. And let me check it if I have the name and everything is there, and the same thing is the dot email. Yes, great. Okay, git dot add I did. Now if I put git status, then all the files are already here. And now if I see here, now we can go to this VCS and then go to git, and then sorry, commit. If you see in the commit, you can see all these changes are there. Now I'm just giving something. Now I'm just showing in this IntelliJ also. Now I'm not doing into this what do you call, into this command line. So here only I'm doing, and I'm just doing something here, and then I will. But before to that, what I need to do, I need to add my that URL actually. So that URL is nothing but this one. Where is my Edge browser? So if I go to this SSH, this is my remote URL where I need to keep it. So for this, let me quickly do one thing. Let me commit or else this one. Commit hyphen m, something I'm putting final form.xml updated, right? Updated form.xml. Fine. Okay, fine. Now here what I will do, git remote add origin, and then the path actually, that path, actual path, whatever it is there. And before to this, let me just make it to this one. Okay, so this is my URL actually. Okay, now if I click on enter, it is now the URL is set actually. Once the URL is set, what I need to do now, I need to push that. Before to that, let me see if my remote URL is set or not. You can see to fetch and push. Before it was blank actually. If you see, it was blank. Where is that? Git remote hyphen v I did somewhere, right? So before it was blank, now it is coming this one only. Fine. So it is all set. Now git status. You can see there is nothing to commit. Everything is clean. Now I need to do git push hyphen u origin master. Master means that is the branch I'm doing that, right? And if everything goes good, it is now pushing everything to there. Now you will see here nothing is there, right? Can I expand this one? Yes, do one more. Okay, there is nothing, but if I refresh this particular project, you can see all the code base came into the GitHub. Okay, now here this is the testng XML which I need to deal with that. Okay, now the question comes, how do I link this one to my Jenkins actually? So for this, go to the source code management, and instead of scrolling, even I can click on this one also. You can do this one also. So here I need to find a repository URL actually. Now what is the repository URL? It should be the git path actually here. Okay, so for this, what I will do, let's again go to the git, and here you will see something under this drop down. I think copy path. No, let's go to this project directly, and here you will see like this, and then go to the HTTPS and copy this particular URL. Okay, and come back here, give this URL. See the way we were giving the file path, right? The project path into this pom.xml, indirectly we are giving that one here. But to access this one, I need to have some access, right? How do Jenkins know that this one I have access or not? So for this, you need to create a credential actually. Let's say that this particular git is under your username actually, or into a admin user. So what you can do, you can add into a URL also, add a credentials. Now that credential will fall into this one. Now select this one, so that this particular git folder has access to this particular user. Some kind of authentication we need to give. So I'm set with that. Now here you need to give a proper branch actually, which branch you want to do, you want to perform the operation. So because I'm on master branch, so I'm giving master as a branch. That's it. It is that simple actually. There is nothing much great in this. Once you are done with that, then the next thing is that you want to provide the pom.xml path. Now if you see in this project, where is the pom.xml? It is on the parent folder only. There is no other folders. Like if this pom.xml is under like resources, then pom.xml, then I would have mentioned resources pom.xml. But because it is straight on the parent folder, I will just say pom.xml. Pom.xml, simple thing. Okay, whatever path is there, you will put it. But maven and then test, everything will remain same. Now let's save this one. Did you all understood about how I pushed into the Git and then redirected that Git link to the Jenkins, so that what Jenkins will do, instead of taking it from my local folder, it will go to the Git server and then pull the code with the specified location. Simple thing. Now let me go to and do a build now. Now here you will see a few changes. Let me go to the console output. Okay, sorry. I went to the second build. It should be the third build. Yeah, third is running. I already got the browsers running behind the screen. You can see that one. Okay, let it run because there is nothing much to show there. Okay, let it run. Yes, you can see it is finished. Success messages came, but you will see something here. You can see here what it is doing. What it is doing git init. Okay, automatically it is doing. I have not done anything. It is just git fetch, means it is fetching this particular project to this Jenkins workspace. Where is the Jenkins workspace? Here. Now this is a copied version from this GitHub. From here it copied and put it into this workspace so that it is easy to access all these things. Now see pom.xml, it is on my parent folder, right? That's why if you go to the configure, here directly I mentioned pom.xml. Oh, where it is advanced pom.xml. Okay, like that you can execute these things. Okay, fine. Now Jenkins is not only limited to this one, even you can even what do you call, send an email also. I told at the beginning, right? So for there is one more thing which let me quickly finish that. Let's say that you want to pass certain parameters to this Jenkins, to your code base. Normally what happens if you are passing any parameters to your code base, Java code, what you are doing, either you are sending from a Maven commands, or you are keeping into a file, actually properties file or anywhere, and then you are updating whatever it is required, and then you are running it. Now in Jenkins, how do you do that? Because it is on the fly, it is happening. Okay, so for this Jenkins is providing a way that is nothing but parameterized. Where that is, let me go. Yes, you can see here this project is parameterized. Now if I click on this, you will see few of the parameters, and these are coming as a default. Actually there is something called as a boolean parameter, means you can create a value, a variable, you can assign true or false. You can even put a string parameter, like a string parameter here. Now I can say here name, let me say browser. Now to just explain this example, and here if you see into this project testng xml, you will see the parameter browser I'm taking from Chrome. I'm hard coding here. But in reality, let's say that your manager is saying, I want to take a Firefox browser. Now what you will do? Now think about this. It is already pushed into the GitHub and Jenkins job is running. Now your manager is saying, I want to run it in Chrome Firefox browser. What you will do? Now you will pull the latest code into your local drive. You will change this testng XML parameter value to Firefox, and then you will again move to the what do you call, push to the GitHub, and then Jenkins will run that, which is like a difficult, right? And tomorrow let's say that they want to run with your what is that browser, Edge browser, actually you want to run. Now which is difficult, right? Every time you don't want to pull the code, change it something and then do it, manual efforts are coming. So what you can do, like again it is as a development folks, you might not be dealing with this one, but I'm just giving different ways actually. So what you can do, this value definitely from this testnc xml, I'm taking it to somewhere, right, in my code, reading this value, and then I'm performing certain action, any variables. What I can do, why not I can take a Maven variable. So Maven has a variable concept, right? And from there I can take it actually that directly. So what I have done here, I'm taking from the system properties, system.get property. So as a developer, Maven developer, you know already, if any Maven commands I'm assigning any value, that I can accept it as a system.get property. Okay, so that is one of the thing. Like just to give you a heads up, if you guys are not recalling that, let me see that command variable, maven variable. Oops. So where is my terminal? Yeah. So what I can do, maven test, and I can say variable, and then here I can say browser equal to, I can write like this. Do you remember? Like this also I can do. Now this browser I can take directly to my code actually. To here I can take it system.get properties browser. Then it will come from my maven command. If in the maven command I'm not giving anything, then the next thing I'm saying that get it from the testng XML. Simple logic I have written here. So that is what I'm going to use in the Jenkins. Okay. So now here default value, let's not give anything. Enter a browser name to run tests, something I'm writing here. Now if I save this one, you will see instead of build I'm getting a build with parameter. If I click on this, you are getting a new screen here, and which is asking a browser value. Enter a browser name to run test. I can say Chrome, or I can say even Firefox, but it won't run automatically because I need to set it up. Now this variable value, I need to take it to my maven command, right? Because I have shown that already here. Like this I need to run, then only it will run. Now if you see git, I'm not going to change anything because that is just pulling the code only. Now here what I need to do, I need to assign or create that variable actually, so that what will happen, this variable can be triggered by from my code actually. So for this what I will do, maven test, where is my cursor? Yeah, maven test, and here I will do like this, browser equal to, see this is my browser actually. This browser basically will be taken over from here to here actually, this one. So now equal to, what I will do here, shall I write Firefox or Chrome? No, not really. I need to take this variable. Which variable? This browser variable I need to take. So let me copy this one, and then here what I will do, this is a variable, right? So I will be putting a dollar sign, and I will make it as a browser here. Fine. And my testng XML is anyway, it is there already. So I need not to provide anything. Let's say if your testng XML is also not there inside. So what I can do, I can put a D, and then I can provide that path as well. Okay, so this is parameterizing. Anything that you want to parameterize, you can accept it from the Jenkins also. So whenever you want, you will have to just type whatever it is there in that text box, and then it will run. Now save it. Now build with parameter, we have ran that into by using Chrome, right? Because Chrome here I have a hard coded it into the testng XML. Now let's run it into the Firefox, and let's see if it is running or not. And I'm making a build, and there should be another fourth build should come. Now I have first, second, third builds are there. And you can see it is running in Firefox. It launched the Firefox browser. And if I refresh it, why is it coming? No problem. Let's refresh this, and you can see I've got a fourth build as well. Now if I in the console output, I will see it is just doing the same thing, but if it is running from the Firefox only browser, and it is the rest things are same only. There is no what you call change in that. So this is one of the way you can build with parameters also. You can work on this one. Like we have learned normal script execution, we have learned how we can get the data, we get the source code from the local drive, and then from the GitHub, and then we are parameterizing that. Now the last thing I will be showing how you can trigger a email triggering actually on that. Yeah, so let's move to the email triggering part. Okay, so in the email triggering, we have to set up something actually there, because right, we have to set up some SMTP servers. If you guys ever worked on the what do you call Gmail or anything in your code base, then you might be knowing about the SMTP servers. So for that, what I will do, I will go to the configure system, always from the Jenkins configure system. Anything that I am doing in the configure system, that is common to everything actually, not specific to a single job. Okay, so here, let me bit minimize this. Yeah. Okay, so here let me go to a section that is email. Where is the email? Yes, extended email notification. Here, one is there. So now for this, what I can do is that, no, there is another email. Yes, sorry. Yeah, this is the one, email notification. Now in this actually, we have to set up the SMTP server for the Gmail, so that the Jenkins has that access to send an email to the Gmail, your inbox. So here, because it is a Gmail, for if you are using Outlook or Lotus anything, you have to talk to your Outlook admin to provide all this information, because Gmail is kind of a what do you call I mean, not open source, but it is a public platform. That's why Gmail is giving us these options already. So you can ask to your what do you call admin if you are using any other service provider for the email service. Okay, so smtp.gmail.com, then the domain, that is @gmail.com, the email suffix, and then you have to give the username, because Jenkins need a particular email actually, from where it has to send data to a particular email address. So I'm giving the email address, and then you have to provide a password. So initially it will be just normal password only. Once you enter and save, it will come as concealed. Okay, you can update the password whenever you need, because we tend to change the password, right? So there is an option actually here. And SSL, you need to turn on the SSL for the secure channel. And there is a SMTP port actually, that is 465. It is a strict one. Reply to address, if from that email, if you want to reply, what is the email address? I'm just giving something, and this is automatically coming. It's a encoding format actually, encryption format, UTF-8. Fine. Okay, so this is the only stuff you need to do. That I will send this stuff into as a PDF, so that you can refer later for practice. Simple thing, just to save it. Now we are done with that. One thing you need to do that is that Jenkins will not send the data as simple as it is, because Gmail is very secured actually. No other parties can talk to the Gmail, even though we are setting all this SMTP server. So there is something I have written here. Let me just grab that. You can see, you need to do this setup actually. So you need to go to the login to the Gmail account. Under this email, you will get something called as a Google account. Let me quickly go there so that it will be helpful for you guys. Gmail, and then let me log into this, and let me give the password. And then if you go to this email inbox, confirm. Yeah. Okay. So if you go to here, you will go to this manage Google account. You will go to a security. Under this security, if you scroll down, you will see something called as less secure app access. Okay. You need to make it as on. For you, by default, it will be off actually. So you need to make it as on, so that the third parties like Jenkins can access it. It is not recommended, but yes, if it is if you can't do, then you won't get the notification actually. Or maybe whenever you are practicing, make that as on. Later you can turn it off if you want more secured one. Fine. Okay, now let me go to the configure. Now that configure, which where I have added SMTP and everything, that is Jenkins configure actually. If you go to the manage Jenkins configure, but this is my project's configure button. Okay, now inside this, if you see a post build action, I told that we will be learning about the email notification. Now here, if you go, to this one, it is asking you a few of the options actually. There is one more notification also. Let me go to that. Emailable. Yes, editable, sorry, not emailable, editable email notification. Now here what you need to do, you need to provide few of the options. Now default recipient, I don't have anybody, but if you have anything, you can assign here. It seems like you will have something here, like a DL, distribution list, you can put it. I really never seen that one, but somewhere here, if you explore more, you will get that. Let's go to the advanced. There should be something as a default. Let me control F. Recipient. Yeah, see here. You have a default recipient, right? You can assign all the email addresses. Like you can see xyz@gmail.com, comma. You can see the description also here. You can give everything. See the example it is giving. By using comma, you can write all these things with a CC, BCC, all these things. But let's not go into that complication. Let me keep it. I mean, if you want, you can just keep it and give some email address here. Okay, now I have given this, and then reply to, you can just put a comma and you can assign that as well. And then any subject line, you can configure all those things here actually, everything. If you don't want, then make it your own actually here. I'm not making anything, let it be like that. Go to this advanced settings here. Now again, so if you go here, you will get something called as again advanced. I don't think so. Yes, this one actually. I was talking about this one. If any failures, let me see that. Let's say that you are triggering a email, I mean a job, but it is failed actually. So if it is passed anyway, that is good actually. There is no information required, but still if you need, you can add trigger. You can see all these things are available. If it is a success, you can put a success here. If it is a failure, you can put a failure there. So all these things you can do that. Now recipient list, and recipient list will be here only. I think this one only it will be taking. No problem, let's keep that as it is. Now all these groups will be there, you can add your own actually here. Fine. Now recipient list, I will put this one, the rate gmail.com. Fine, everything is there, and this will be only if in case of failures only. Now let me save it, but for this what I will do, I have to fail this one, right? So for this what I will do, I'll make this one as browser one. Yeah, still it will take from that only. I'll make this one as a different goal actually, some test one which is a invalid goal. So let me save it, and now let me build with parameter, and I will say Firefox. And you can see there is a new build appearing. Let me go to the console output. Now you can see it got failed here. It got failed, and then here it is telling that sending email to this particular email address. I think there is some configuration problem. Let's get into, once it is finished, let's go to that. Okay, so I didn't get any email because there is some problem. Let me go back to this one. Let's go to the configure. Something is missing into the post build action. So editable email, advanced setting. Yeah, recipient list, everything is there. I don't know why it is not appearing here. It should be getting a trigger here. I don't know why it is not coming at this moment. It should be comma only. Yes, that's correct. Okay, I don't know, some settings problem is there. Let's try this one also. Email notification. I have another one is there, right? Even let's see this one. Send email for every unstable build. So here also I can even give this email address and then trigger it. This should be working actually. We need to just do some exploration and see why it is not coming. But let me go here and then trigger it. Build with parameter. I'm giving something wrong here. And as you see, it is coming red now only. So failure, build got failed. Here you can see. No, still it is not coming. Sending email to, I don't know why. Hmm. Some problem is there, but I think I had one. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is there. I don't know why. Yes, you can see this one. 0 minutes ago. Just now I got this one. And let me expand this one. Yeah, like this you will get address not configured yet, some name, it is some subject line, it is coming default, and you can see that complete logs you are getting here. So by looking into this, you can navigate. It is even giving you where is the source code available, where is the your workspace is there. If you click on it, this is exactly your Jenkins link is coming here. So all these things you can just see, and then you can quickly take action onto that particular project. Fine. I think that's pretty much it about the Jenkins. Oh yeah, one more thing. I did not show you guys about the plugins, right? So let's see that plugins. If you go always Jenkins, manage Jenkins, and then you will see manage plugins. You will see there are hell lot of plugins are there depending on your availability you can do. Now you can see whatever installed plugins I have. Some ant plugin I never use, but for some reason I've kept there. And then you will see some email extension which I'm using right now, but for some reason it is not working. And you will see some Gradle plugin, HTML publisher, all these things we are just using. Maven integration plugin, if you are using any Maven specific stuff. So if you are installing this particular plugin, Maven integration plugin, what will happen if I go to this Jenkins, let me open it into a new tab. So whenever you are creating a new job, actually, you will see only freestyle project only. You won't see Maven project. But when you are creating, when you are installing this Maven integration plugin, you will see a new what you call item is coming here as a Maven project. If you click on this, it's pretty much same only. There is nothing. Let me show you that Maven sample, and then click on OK. It's just giving a pre-step, a build, post-step, all this thing. It's just giving some more what do you call layers on that. But yes, you can. It's all same only. Freestyle project is similar to this one only. Okay, so that is one way actually you can install all this thing. Simply check that checkbox. If you go ahead, check that checkbox, and then against this, like for an instance, let's say available. Go to the available and let it load. Okay, something it is searching. I'm just searching something. And now if I click on this, you will see here install without restart, download now, and install after restart. All these two options are there. Normally, I would say always you select install without restart. Why? The reason because see, when you are using the Jenkins, you are not the only person who is using. There might be some jobs running actually in that. Because let's say that there are 50 jobs into the Jenkins. Every time some or other jobs are running. So what you always can do that install without restart you need to do. Now there will be another option actually where there is no jobs are running. That time it will install, it will restart automatically, so you need not to worry about that. So in real time, whenever you are working, never do download, download now and install after restart. because the thing is that it won't restart now. It will restart after when there is a null period, no jobs are running. That could be like somewhere, and you don't want to wait to install this plugin and then use it tomorrow, right? You want to check it right away only. So always select install without restart only, then it will just do its own job. Okay, so that's pretty much it related to these Jenkins. Depending on your need, you can just do practice. I mean, try different options and see what things you can use it and get benefit from Jenkins. See you guys, and have a good day then. See you all. Bye.